They can see you and they can hear you.
Hi everyone. We're just going to give everybody a couple of minutes to start. If you could please just write in the text box if you can hear me clearly and if you can see my video clearly, that would be great. Just so we know that we're at a great start. Thank you.
Yes, we can use it.
Okay, thank you so much for your comments. I can see them now. It's great that you can all hear me, and thank you so much for joining. So I will just get started. Um, Thank you and welcome. Hello and konnichiwa. I'm Sonali. As you all know me as Sonali Thakur, and I am very pleased and happy to be here today with all of you online at this virtual launch of my first book, Konnichiwa Japan. I've waited 11 years for this day. It was exactly 11 years ago on today's day that I had presented the first draft of my book, Konnichiwa Japan, to my dad. And I'm so pleased and proud that this moment has come in where I am actually at the virtual launch of this event and my book. 11 years sounds like a long time for sure, but I'm glad it happened. Better late than never. So let me first tell you about this journey and my book and how this book came into existence and how the whole idea of me writing this book came in. So dating back to 2007, so let me take you to my college days when I was in the first year of my university, studying at the Gujarat University's HL College of Commerce in Ahmedabad. And so one afternoon, I had an announcement from the desk of my principal stating that there was an Indo-Japan exchange program selection happening during that month and the weeks coming in. I was really excited. Wow, who would think of going to Japan? And it's a country that I only studied in my geography book, that it's a little country with some islands around it. So this island nation made me excited, and I decided to go and apply for it. I applied for the first year when I was in my first year in 2007. Unfortunately, I did not make it to the selection for the first year I applied. The same announcement came back a year later, and I was not going to not apply because of the failure in the first year. So I decided, with all the support from my college principal and all the professors, I gathered the courage and applied again. And this year, I was successful. I'm talking about the year 2008. So the Indo-Japan Exchange Program is an exchange program between Gujarat University and Otoman Gakuen University in Japan. The program has been in existence for a long time, and I was so honored and pleased to be selected for this program. The selection process to be selected as one of the exchange students wasn't easy either. The announcement was actually shared with more than 200 colleges under Gujarat University in the state of Gujarat, which was a challenging selection process in itself. Having gone through the process for the first year, I did have a bit of a background as what to expect at the selection interview process. So we had 3 different stages of selection. So it was an interview, a personal interview with a panel. I think we had about a panel of 8 or 9 members. I don't recall exactly, but yes, I recall it was that panel. I also had to go through an extempore, which is a speech. So I was given a topic on the spot. I had about 3 minutes to prepare and then present on the topic. And then the third piece of the selection process was verifying my personal documents, so my academic achievements and or any other co-curricular activities that I had. And I was a successful candidate to get through and pass through all the selection stages. And it was interesting. At my personal interview, I was asked to perform or present a song or any of the performing arts. So I sang Vaishnav Janto Tene Rekaiye because I think that's the song which perfectly depicts or shows the Indian culture. I'm a big fan of Mahatma Gandhi, and presenting this song was an honor and a blessing to myself. So that's how I got selected, and I was one of the 2 students selected to be the part of the 2008-9 exchange program and visit Otoman Gakuen for the 3 months between October and January. And so I had an opportunity to stay with a Japanese host family, which was one of the most interesting things I felt about this program. How can you not learn about a culture when you are with a family that actually is the culture? So I had this amazing experience of living with a Japanese family and knowing their everyday habits, living just like how I lived with my family in India. So it was a pleasure staying with this family for 3 months and taking classes at the Otoman Gakuen University. The major course of study I had was learning the language. So yes, lucky me, I was able to learn the language. It was very funny, and you would read in my book that when I initially reached Japan, the couple of first weeks, I had to just use sign language because nobody would understand English otherwise. And it was very funny because you don't always get very familiar with the sign language. So if I have to ask somebody for the pricing at a store, I have to show them like this to ask them how much does it cost. So it was very funny to learn and understand those different things, but learning the language gave me an opportunity to actually experience real Japan, because now you understand the language, you can talk to more people, you can read more billboards, you can go to more places and not get lost. So I studied the language. I also studied other courses which included the Japanese culture, the economy, the performing arts, which was a pleasure because it also gave me an exposure to the beautiful nation that Japan is, and it helped me while I was writing this book because I was able to refer to those learnings from my experiences from the classes and what I experienced in person. So this book, Konnichiwa Japan, is based on all my experiences. It's more of my personal memoir. So when you are reading it, you would feel like a story. However, I've tried to write it as if I am telling you the story. So you would, when you're reading it, I'm hoping that you will feel that you are actually with me within the setting that I'm talking about. So if I'm talking about my visits to the schools that I had in Japan, and if I was with the kids trying to play some of the games or to make the rice cake with the kids, you will feel the experience of being with me and trying to make the rice cake with me. So I've tried to give a personal touch to all the chapters within the book so that you can feel as being with me throughout. The book talks about my visits to different cities, which also was a major part of my exchange program. So I visited Tokyo, I visited Kyoto, Nara, Kobe, and also Hiroshima. The trip to Hiroshima was personally very touching for me. It has a lot of memories for me as well. So one of the incidents that you would read in the book is about the origami or the paper cranes that I made. When I was told about my visit to Hiroshima, I was also told a story about a little girl who had made 1,000 cranes to help her recover from leukemia that she had because of the A bombing that happened. And the girl did make 1,000 cranes, but unfortunately couldn't survive. And when I heard this story, it was also connected, and I was told that people who visit Hiroshima usually would make 1,000 cranes and put it at the memorial, which is more of your contribution towards world peace. And I was so excited. I'm like, wow, making 1,000 cranes isn't a big deal. So I committed myself to making 1,000 cranes. not realizing that those people who put the 1,000 cranes are usually people who go in groups. So if schools are visiting, they would all, so every student would make maybe 5 or 10 cranes each, and then they're able to pull up 1,000 cranes together. And here I decided to do something all by myself, and so I started it. And luckily, if you read through the book, you will know how challenging and exciting. Oops. Sorry. So you would know how challenging and exciting it was for me to make those cranes, and I was successful in making those 1,000 cranes, even though it was challenging, and I was able to put it up at the Hiroshima Memorial. So in the background, if you look at this picture where I'm holding my 1,000 cranes, and you also have the pleasure of viewing these pictures in the book as well. So that's one of the experiences that I had at Hiroshima. The memorial was very touching because what the people had gone through was very heartwarming, and it was distraughting too. But I think we have all come a long way, and that experience kind of gave me a lot of courage to also contribute something towards world peace and look into the good things from other people. So you would read about all these visits that I had at different places in the book. I've also shared some of my funny experiences with my friends. So one of the very funny experience or an instance that I mentioned was about a trip to Mino Falls. I know it sounds so exciting. I was so excited when I heard about Mino Falls. I'm like, wow, it would be something like Niagara Falls. So my new Japanese friends and I decided to go over to the falls, and unfortunately, all I know is the fall. I could hear the fall, but we were chased away by some wild monkeys. And if you want to know more, be sure to read the book and the chapter on the Mino Falls. And so after my stay, when I came back to India, spending the 3 months in Japan, I had shared my urge to write this book because I felt it was important for other students going through the same program to know more about my experiences. It would definitely help them in the future. And also, I thought that it's not just limited to exchange to Japan, but I think there are a lot of foreign exchanges that happen where students participate in these type of exchange programs to different countries around the world. And this experience that I've penned down would help them or act as a gateway or a guidebook, which any student willing to go out on an exchange would look at. Certainly, the locations would be different, the places would be different, the people would be different, but the essence doesn't change. As an exchange student, I learned to respect different cultures. I learned to accept people as they are. Like, one of the things I can share from my experience is that Japanese always liked to slurp their soup or the food, which means you are thanking your host that the food is good, versus if you are slurping in India, it's something that people look at you at. So it's different. Each culture is different and unique in its own sense, and I learned to adapt and accept it that way. So I think when students look at this book or read through the book, they will learn to respect and accept the aspects of being in different countries and make sure that they do not offend anybody around them. So when I shared again my urge to write this book, everybody that I spoke to, including my parents, my professors, my mentors, the program coordinator for this program, everybody was very supportive of me writing this book because they felt that it was something that would help others, but at the same time is something that would help me share my experiences around. And so that's how the book began. And I had the privilege to share the first draft of my book with Sri Narendra Modi ji, who is our current Prime Minister, while he was the serving Chief Minister of Gujarat at the time. Modi ji encouraged me a lot and pat on my back saying, a daughter of Gujarat is talking about Japan, and he's a great supporter of Japan. So I was pleased and blessed to have shared the draft of my book with him at the time. So COVID really gave me an opportunity to look at this project. I'm sure you're all wondering, why did it take so many years for this project if the first draft was ready back then that it is coming into existence now? Well, life changes. A lot of changes happen day in, day out. The big change that I went through was moving from India to Canada, where I'm settled now. So COVID gave me the opportunity to sit down, think about this project. I had a lot of support from my parents and my husband, who wanted me to rethink and bring this book to life. And so, in the past couple of weeks, I started looking again at the drafts and multiple drafts, staying overnights, trying to get this draft ready, up and running, so that I could share it with all of you. And you can all have the opportunity to read this book from pen down from my experiences. And I'm glad that now this book is available for all of you to read through. So I would like to take this moment to acknowledge and thank some people who have been a constant support and or have mentored me to be where I am today. A special heartfelt thanks to Janali Patel, who is a friend, a colleague, a mentor, and more of a sister to me. Janali Ben has helped me get this book where it is. She took a lot of my experiences and helped me put them into words the way I wanted to make it read to you. So thank you, Janali Ben, for all your love and support and constantly helping me and encouraging me to get this book where it is now. I would also like to thank my sister, Vaishali, for always being supportive and helping me with it. She was also up and ready to read my final drafts so that the book would be ready and up for publishing. So thank you for all your help and support. I would like to thank Malti Madam, Miss Malti Mehta, who is the program coordinator for Indo-Japan Exchange Program. Ma'am, you've been a very supportive person who has always encouraged me and was the backbone of my success for this Indo-Japan Exchange Program. And I really owe you a big thank you. I cannot stop without thanking the wonderful professors and teachers of my HL College of Commerce. Thank you, dear professors, for all your support and all the encouragement that I've received from all of you. Without you, I couldn't have done this. So thank you. And how can I stop without thanking the lovely and wonderful staff of the Center for International Studies at Otamon Gakuen University in Japan. They had been a great support and people who helped me make my life much easier in Japan. I would also like to thank my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and my sister-in-law for constant support that they have provided in me and have accepted me as the lovely daughter-in-law as I am. Thank you, and I really mean it from my heart. And my personal thank you to all my friends and family and my mentors here in Canada who have been a constant support of inspiration and have helped me settle in this unknown land just as it was back in Japan. I cannot thank all of you enough. So I have dedicated this book to my mom and dad. I want to take this time to thank my constant inspiration and my support. I still recall Papa always telling me how as a little girl I would just make poems and sing them on my own. Those memories have always supported and encouraged my urge to write and keep writing. Thank you, Mommy, Papa, for all the love and always being there for me. What I am today is because of what you made me today. So thank you again. I have also dedicated this book to my Japanese host family. Minori-san and Yuji-san, I couldn't have done it or successfully completed my stay in a country where I knew nothing, neither the language nor the people. But they made me feel at home, and it was more like I was their own daughter who treated me like one. And the memories I have from my stay there, they're still as intact as they could be. I also want to thank my 3 young brothers in Japan, Trey, Sora, and Lynn, who are also constantly helping me succeed in the language learning and also other activities that I undertook, which were new to me. But again, it was all fun, and I still miss those memories. I want to take this moment also to share about the 11 years of labs from 2009 to 2020. My life changed completely. Completely, when I say that, it means I changed roles from a daughter to a daughter-in-law to a loving wife and a mother. I want to dedicate this book, and have already done so, to my lovely boy, Arav, who gave me the pleasure of being a mother. I couldn't have done this without him either. So thank you, Arav, and this book is dedicated to you, honey. Last but not the least, I have dedicated this book to my hubby, husband, my Janu, my love. A best friend who I think nobody else could ever have. Yet he's the one who has been a constant source of encouragement to me, who made this book a possibility from my P drive or my hard drive coming to you. So thank you, Hirsch, for all your support and constant encouragement. And thank you for redefining womanhood for me, which was way beyond the four walls of the kitchen. I can't thank you enough, and I dedicate this book to him. So I want to thank you all for joining me today for this virtual launch. Definitely it would have been a different pomp and party had the situation been different, but I'm glad that we all have had this opportunity to get together. And I personally want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all the wishes, the blessings, and all the love and support and encouragement that you've all given me. And thank you again for joining for this virtual launch event. So the book is available in different formats. So the ebook, Konnichiwa Japan, is available for a download and purchase from Amazon Kindle app. So feel free to download the Kindle app, and you can buy the book from Amazon on Kindle. And the book is also available in paperback. And the paperback has two versions. One is a grayscale version and other one is a color version. The only difference between the two is that the pictures would be either in grayscale or in color scale. You'll be able to see some of the lovely pictures from my memories back in Japan in the books that you see. The paperback books will be available for purchase starting next week. It should be available no later than end of next week. The ebooks are available for purchase now, so feel free to go in and check it out. If you face any difficulties making the purchase, please let me know, because COVID situation has kind of made it a little challenging for us, but I'm sure you'll be able to get the books. And thank you once again for joining me today. And I look forward to receiving all of your feedback and reviews on the book. And please feel free to share your feedback. I would love to hear it. And so my lovely husband Harsh has put up the link for the ebook, so feel free to check that link out. And thank you once again for joining me. And now I'm just going to open my paperback book here. So I would like to share the copy with all of you, that this is how the lovely book looks like. And it is absolute pleasure and honor to be launching my ebook, my book with all of you virtually today. So Konnichiwa Japan, a place where sun rises and people bow, by myself. Thank you again for joining me today, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you, and stay safe.